Hey guys, sorry if you hear some thunder. Actually, I have my windows open because I love, the energy of the full moon. I love looking at the full moon, and it's like really hot here. We have a heat wave. However, it's gonna rain now, so that's nice. So if you hear some thunder, it's thunder basically. It's just me warning you that my windows are open. So I finished Skull Spells for today about an hour ago. It's 3 a.m. It's actually 3 a.m. and 3 minutes. This was not planned, just a coincidence, which don't exist as we know. So basically, yeah, I've finished it for today, and as you know, I'm gonna give them little pushes for the next 6 days. So I wanted to say that all of you that had a spell booked, you got a video already of it, and you also got. I also talked about what I'm working on with each target, and usually, we plan these things ahead. You tell me what you want to work on, and then we agree. Or sometimes some clients leave it up to me. So it depends. But if anyone has some kind of specific request, they can still, add that as well because, like I said, 6 more days of pushes, extra pushes. So, uh, what did I want to explain it? How did I want to explain it? So, for example, if you want something specific, like for them to say something specific that you would like them to say, obviously, or do something specific, you can request that because often these things happen with skull spells. As you already know, I think clients have talked about this. Some of them have asked for like specific things, and then sometimes even the very next day the target actually did or said those things. So for this type of stuff, skull spells are your best bet. So I'm not saying it's going to work every single time for every single target because it depends on the target, but it doesn't hurt us to try. And we have 7 days of me speaking with your target. So if you have something specific that you want to add, you can tell me and I'll do it. Okay, so let's get into the Q&A portion. So the first thing is not really a question, but I want to talk about this because I've noticed this happens, relatively often, not like super often, but relatively often, and only with female targets. So if you have a female target, your ex, specifically your ex, is a female target. What can happen, especially if they are avoidant or if they are anxious avoidant? Uh, when the spells start to really work on them, and we discussed how the target feels when the spells are working, but just to remind you, they will, dream of you, think of you. You will always be on their mind. They will remember all the nice, positive things about you, and they will, want to reach out to you. They will daydream about you. They will just, it's pleasant. But what tends to happen with specific female targets that tend to be avoidant or anxious avoidant? Because yes, it can be a combination of attachment styles. So for quite a number of clients, this has happened. So when the spells start to like work on them, and they're having all of those emotions come back and come to the surface and all of those stuff, what they tend to do is block you on social media or phone. So out of nowhere, if it happens out of nowhere, this is probably what it is. So I'm not talking about if you if you are sending them needy text and they block you because you're annoying them. I'm talking about if there is no communication and they block you, or if there is like only friendly, sparse communication. So if you haven't offended them, if you haven't been needy, if you haven't been desperate, if you haven't done anything, and most likely if you're not even in communication with them at all, and they just block you all of a sudden for no reason, this is what the reason is. So this has happened quite a lot. I mean, I do have more female clients obviously than male, but through this whole period of me casting, I have noticed that this does tend to happen with some female targets, if especially if they're avoidant, or even anxiously avoidant, or even anxious. So this is the reason why some targets will react like that on spell work, because it will just be too much, the emotions and everything, and the wish to reach out, and they want to stop themselves from reaching out, so they will just block you and think, oh, my problem is solved now, and if I block them, it's not. Okay, so again, I have to look at some other questions because I already forgot them. Just a second. Oh, yeah, so another thing, you remember that a couple of days ago I did mention that when your ex comes back, if the issues you had are still like not resolved, they can leave you again. And I've mentioned that one client had it happen. Well, the ex actually came back, so the breakup was really short. I think like 10 minutes or something. But what I wanted to talk about was that a lot of you, when you do get your ex back, what you tend to do is every time they're not replying straight away, or they left you on red for a couple of hours or something, happens, what really happens is that your past experience gets triggered, so you get anxious. uh, Basically, we do work on these issues in the workshop, so if you're still not doing the workshop, I would highly recommend it, because we do address triggers and things like this. So it's normal that you get triggered because your brain remembers this situation and it sees it as danger, and that's why you get anxious. So you don't need to be so anxious, because um, very likely, the ex is not, is probably going to change their mind, because, they're still sort of under influence of spells. They just don't just go away automatically when you get back together. There's still some influence going, so it will be harder for them to leave you. Yes, they can, absolutely, but usually we have cases when they kind of are changing their mind or stuff, and then they decide to stay with you. So anyways, the client that I'm talking about will make a video for you guys, talking about this experience, about what happened and how he handled it, because I think that's very important to know how to handle things. So so he will explain to you how he handled it, basically um, how he reacted. So what was his experience with this whole thing? So just in case someone else has similar thing happen, this might help you. So this is why we have decided that he'll make a video about it. So I believe he will make it soon, and you're going to be able to learn about it. Another thing I wanted to mention, and I guess this is not really a Q&A, it's more like me talking about some stuff that have been happening to clients. So another thing I wanted to mention was, and this is just because I was just talking about this with a client. So if your partner is an Aries sun, And okay, in this case, you have to understand some stuff about us because I'm also an Aries sun. So I don't know if I should say we or they because I've kind of worked on this issue and don't really have it anymore. But Aries sun, what's quite characteristic for them, and most of them will have this trait, is they can get super mad in a short period of time, and when they get super mad, they will like break up with you, not want to see you again, and after 10 minutes or so, they're like really fast, they're actually gonna change their mind and then they're gonna behave as if nothing happened. They will want to go back to the things how they were, and it's just like, they didn't have this whole huge reaction. And this is quite typical because Aries is a very impulsive sign. It's fire, it's pure fire. So this is how they react. So if your partner is an Aries sun, you have to understand that they will cool off really fast. This is how it usually works. Um, so another thing that if you are an Aries sun and you have these reactions is that you have to understand that other people will not want to go back to how things were before you overreacted. So they will not be okay with just pretending like nothing happened, which is also an issue that you might have if you are the one that's Aries sun. So you really have to learn how to control these reactions. Basically, it's really important because it's not okay and people will not understand it. They will not be just, oh yeah, let's pretend like nothing happened. They will want explanations, apologies. You will have to like really work for it, and maybe some of them won't even want to be your friend or your partner anymore after something like this happens. So keep that in mind. This is something that Aries people need to work on a lot. Anyways, I hope this was helpful. I am quite tired, so I'm gonna end it now. There are some other questions, actual questions, that I did want to address in this audio, but I'm gonna address it some other time because I'm tired and I've done a lot of work today. So I hope everyone is having a great weekend. And I love you guys. I hope you're doing well. Bye.